Hey guys, welcome back to Mad Mike's Top 10. Today's video is Top 10 Teams Most Likely to Win the 2020. Starting in number 10, the Philadelphia 76ers. It feels wrong to put last year's Eastern Conference finalists only 10th, but nobody really knows how good the 76ers are. The duo of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons is very talented. Very good, but they don't seem to complement each other enough. Because of Simmons' poor shooting, they can always get outscored in the playoffs, which leads to situations where Simmons is unplayable and it seems to be better to play without him. They can give every team a hard time, but in a 7-game series, they are likely to come just short of a 7-game series. Number 9, the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo is poised to win Most Improved Player this year, and Jimmy Butler continued to play on all-star level. They are complemented by a young and talented supporting cast with guys like Tyler Herro and Kendrick Nunn. They are a very solid team, but they seem one piece away to be a real threat to the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. Maybe they can make a deep playoff run if Iguodala can immediately contribute and make a big difference. Number 8, the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic had an MVP-worthy season before he was hindered by multiple ankle and wrist injuries. Because of those injuries, he slowed down before the suspension of the season. But these 3 months of rest maybe came at the right time for him to fully recover. You know, they lack some center depth, but as there is usually less rotation in the playoffs, this shouldn't be too much of a problem if Porzingis can stay healthy. This will be the first time in the playoffs for these 2 young stars to be with one of the most efficient offenses in the league. They can surprise anyone as they are playing without pressure because of their young age. Number 7, the Houston Rockets. We saw different results of the microball experiment. It started very well, but they ended up losing 4 of the last 5 games. Everybody wants to see how the Westbrook-Harden combo will do in the playoffs and see how their microball experiment with all the players under 6'7" will do against all these centers and power forwards like Jokic, Davis, Kristaps, and Gobert. Most of the team will be back next season, but Westbrook and Harden aren't getting any younger, and they have to prove that they can finally win the championship after both their playoff runs last year ended in a disappointment. Come on, people! Number 6, the Boston Celtics. This is probably one of the teams with the least pressure. After a tumultuous last season, they redeemed themselves with a solid season this year, with young players like Tatum and Brown taking the next step under the stable leadership of Kemba Walker. Most of the core is still under contract next season, so they will have one more shot this year if it doesn't go to plan. If Kemba Walker is fully recovered from his knee injuries in February, and with the great coaching of Brad Stevens, the Celtics can beat anyone. Number 5, the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets continued on their great last season by going 43-22 before the season was suspended. They had some injury trouble in January, but Nikola Jokic kept them afloat. Jamal Murray was finding his form in February and March after some rough months before. This duo may not have the real star power like some other duos, but they are proving they cannot be underestimated, especially with a solid supporting cast. The expectations for the Nuggets are higher than ever, but everything depends on Jokic. How fit will he return? Will he have complications after having the coronavirus? It's time for this fairly young team to prove they can take the next step. At number 4, the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors this season proved that last season wasn't a fluke. Even with Kawhi leaving, they still have the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. All starters and most essential pieces, except for OG Anunoby, have had time injury trouble this season, so maybe this was a welcome rest, and they can avoid injury trouble for the playoffs. If they can stay healthy, they have a shot at the finals because of the excellent coaching from Nick Nurse. He's been able to do wonders this year despite all starters missing some time. This is maybe the last shot at a championship with this core, as Gasol and Ibaka become free agents after this season. Oh, we're getting there, folks. Coming in at number 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, have the best record in the league right now with 53-12. They are still favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference, but the question is if they can handle the powerhouse team from the Western Conference in the finals. They have the best defensive rating in the league right now because of players like Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton. Giannis hasn't made it a secret that he wants to sooner than later. And if they don't win a championship this year, his free agency next year, there's a real possibility that he leaves Milwaukee. There are still some questions about how prepared players like Middleton and Antetokounmpo are, as they didn't have a basketball hoop at home to keep training. Number 2, the Los Angeles Clippers. They have had as much pressure as the Lakers, but they have some issues of their own. The core has not played together a lot because of injuries, and load management, and just when they're starting to figure things out and going on a win streak, the season was stopped. It will be interesting to see if Doc Rivers and the players resolve these chemistry issues. The Clippers are placed this high despite having a worse record than some other teams, because playoff Kawhi Leonard cannot be underestimated, and he is complemented by his second star in Paul George. Their bench is also the best in the league right now by scoring 51.5 points per game, baby. Boom. Number 1, the Los Angeles Lakers. There's just too much at stake for the Lakers to not win. The possibility of Anthony Davis leaving if they don't win the championship is real. And it also hurt LeBron James' legacy a lot if he can't deliver this year. Right now, they have the best record in the West, and they are probably not going to give up the first seed. They do lose Avery Bradley, but the signing of J.R. Smith and maybe someone like Alex Caruso stepping up can cover for that loss. Oh, Dwight Howard recently confirmed he will be going to Orlando, so that helps them a lot on the defensive side. Thanks for tuning in to Mad Mike's Top 10.